Hello guys, and you're welcome to this section on method overriding. Now, when we override a method in Python, it means you actually are taking over a method or using a method that exists in a parent class and you're calling that method in a child class. So basically you're writing that method. So basically that's what method overriding does. So let's go ahead and see an example. So I'm going to create a class. So let me just go ahead and do that. And let's create an arithmetic class. So let me just say create an arithmetic class, and we'll just be doing a simple math. So I'm going to create a class called arithmetic, just like that. And I'm going to define a function called subtract, or let's use add. So I'm going to create a function called add, and I'll pass in the keyword self so I can have attribute to the properties and methods of that class. And I'll create two parameters, num1 and num and num2. Right, so that's good. Also, I would like to return some parameters. So I'll just create an f string, and just for formatting, so let me just say in the parent class, we add, so I'm going to call in the variable, the parameters num, and I'm calling num2 to give, and I'm going to call these two, and I'm going to say num plus num2. Alright, so basically that's what I'm doing right now. So I'll create a child class called test class. So I'm going to say create a child class called test class, and this is what I'm going to be using to call that. So I'm going to say class, and I'll call it test class, and what I'll do next is to inherit from arithmetic. So I'm going to inherit from arithmetic. So if we actually don't spell that properly, we'll make a mistake. So now let's call that method called add, and passing self, and take the same parameters num and num2. So now I would like to return, and now I'm going to say in the child class we modify the add method and multiply. So what I want to do is to multiply num, and let's just take this to the next line since it's getting too long. I'm going to say by the second variable, so num2. So basically what I'm trying to do is to modify the method, right? So first, in the arithmetic class, we have a method called add, which is adding two variables and returning the sum of these two variables, two parameters. So now in the test class, which is inheriting from the arithmetic class, I'm now changing the properties of the add method, and basically what I want to do is to multiply it, right? So I'm just going to say to give, and I'm going to call it num multiplied by num2, just like that, and make sure we close this and remember to use a single quote. So now what I'm going to do is to create the instances. So let's just go ahead and save this and drag this down a bit so we can have some real estate to work with, like that. So good. So I'm just gonna, so let's create an instance of the arithmetic class. So I'm just going to say obj underscore parent, which is an object of the parent class, and I'm just going to say arithmetic, just like that, and run it. So now what I'm going to say is obj parent, obj underscore parent dot add, and I'll pass in two numbers. So let's just 2, 2. So it says in the parent class we add 2 and 2 to give 4. So let's see, we added, because this is going to be a past tense. And let's run this and run that again. I need to run this and run this. So it says in the parent class we added 2 and 2 to give 4. So let's go ahead and create the instance of the test class. So let's say creating an instance of the test. It's actually test class. So I'm just going to say obj underscore child. I can just call the child by, I just like putting the objects there. So I'm just going to say test class like that. So now what I'm going to do is to call the add method. So let's say call the add method of the test class. So now I'm just going to say obj underscore child dot add, and let's pass in 2 values again. And if you run it, it says in the child class we modify the add method and multiply 2 by 2 to give 4. Now it's merging the 2 by 2. So let's go ahead and see what we did here. I think if I just okay, let's see. Maybe that's the reason why. Let's go ahead and just see this. But it's not really a problem. So just after the multiplied and multiplied to give num. Okay, well, it's not a problem. We're getting the results we wanted. So we multiply 2 by 2 to give 4. Right, so at this time around we actually added this and to give, so let's try 5 by 5. So let's say 5, comma 5, like that, and let's run it, and this gives 25. So we multiply 5 by 5 to give 25. Now another thing I want you to note what's happening right here. Let's just put a note here and turn this to a markdown, is that now we're using the add method and we're multiplying with the add method. Now this behavior in object-oriented programming is called polymorphism, and it allows an object to exist and behave in a different form. So we're actually adding, but this time around we're modifying add to multiply. So I'm just going to say we're using the add method to multiply. And see, this behavior is called polymorphism. So let's just say it allows an object to be used differently. And this is a markdown cell. So if we run that, we just see a simple note. So basically that's how to override a method. Remember, to override a method, you actually have to call the method in the parent class within a child class, and then you change the way you actually call that method in the child class, rather than just defining the same method and using it over and over again. Thank you very much for watching. In our next lesson, we'll also look at how to modify functions within our classes using the super keyword in Python. Once again, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next lesson.